Immersive Engineering Pumpjacks. It's what you need to know. So this is how I have taught myself to remember how to build a pumpjack. We start with the light engineering block, and then we put down what forms a 3x3 grid with the scaffolding. We drop 1, 2, 3 pipes and one out the front. Then we go back to scaffolding, drop one off the front, and then one to either side. So it makes kind of a triangle. Next thing we do is we come to the center of the 9 block, and we're going to jump and drop a heavy engineering block. Blop, and a second time. We'll drop our redstone engineering block, and then we'll switch to sheet metal, and we're going to jump and drop 1. We are going to hit left shift to squat and S to move back, and drop 3 more. And then we are going to let ourselves fall off the edge, maybe not quite that far, and whoops, going the wrong way. Going to pop a steel block and then one underneath, so it looks like this. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is put in the treated fence. So put one there, one on the pipe, and then one in the middle. Run around to the other side, and quite honestly, this is one of the more difficult places I've had to put these today. Do the same thing. So again, we've got the 2 heavy, we've got the sheet metal, the steel blocks, and then we put the fencing on the pipes. So now, oh, I know what we forgot. We forgot to put our other, there's supposed to be 2 of these here. There we go. Yeah. So now we can take our hammer, and we are going to hit this second tier block with a right click. And if it's all correct, this is what you get. Pop on a lever, and pop on a connector. There we go. So that's all wired, ready to go, and I have set up all the pump jacks that I'm going to set up in this phase. Now it's a matter of wiring. I need to go get some more poles, and we'll start wiring this up. And like I say, I did the last, when I did the excavators, I used the mechanism energy conduits, and these immersive engineering wires are working out oh so much better. So I will be back shortly, and we'll start wiring everything up. And after that, we start digging for pipeage to get the oil back to the tank. Alrighty, now we're about ready to start run wire. You'll notice there's grid work around me. Some of you may know about this. Some of you may have seen it in another video or 2 or 6 I did. These are your chunk borders, and you access these by holding down F3 and G at the same time. So I am going to turn them off. I don't need them anymore. There we go. That was to make sure that my pump jack over there was within the entire chunk, because if it's split between chunks, they don't sometimes work. It's bad. It's real bad. Can be anyhow. So let's go start running some wire. And I am going to have to turn on the jetpack for this. So you'll notice the cube up here. That is our power access, and we have run a line off to this post. And you can go a fair distance with these posts and these wires. So I'm looking at, I've got 2 of these. I can probably feed off of 1 post. But then I need to get over here. And potentially there's a few more oil zones over here. I have not hooked those up yet. Not planning to at this point. But I got another pump jack here. And then I got one here. And I got one here. So I will probably drop a post in here someplace. Over here someplace. And probably another one in here someplace. And you got to remember, if they get blocked, they ain't going to work right. So we're going to do this right about there. And we're going to use a wire relay. Oh, go down, click. Nope, you going to let me do it? Come on. There we go. You got to get high enough. But you got to be going down in order to target it. Unfortunately, it also takes you down. So if you get too close, it will not place. So to connect the wires, we're going to click that with a spool. And we're going to come over here and we're going to click the terminal post, and it links up if it's a good link. If it's not a good link, it'll tell you what it is and probably why. Come on. You going to connect up? You cannot attach that. Okay. Why not? You cannot attach to the same point. Oh, because it's only, I've got to go up to the relay. That's the problem. Linking and linking. Yes, see, terminals you can only hook one on. So there's our one. I should have just gone up there. But relays you can connect any number of wires to. So let's go ahead and click this one on. And that guy's running. He's not supposed to be running. I forgot to turn the switch. There you go. Turn that off. Alright, so I got 3 of these steel posts. Let's drop one right here. And hopefully this will all work out, because I didn't actually measure. I don't know if this will work. Looks like I'm going through. It may be a little far. You are too far away. Okay, so that was too far, and it probably would have gone through the pump jack, and it wouldn't have liked that either. So that was a double whammy. And I can never remember whether these drop from axes or pickaxes. So pickaxe. There we go. So we are too far away, and we are probably blocked. So let's drop right here. See how this one works out. And there are swing arms you can create for these. I don't need them right now. I'm just dropping the things on the top. You see over there, I use the swing arm to get around things. Now the only problem with this is it runs me right through those trees. So how many of these do I have left? I have 2 and a wooden. I may have to get myself another post. We'll see. We'll call this See if this is good. There we go. Let's see if it'll let me go. This may be a hair too far. Yep, you are too far. Well, can I stretch this anymore? Okay, so we just dropped everything. Can I go, say, to here? Would that be too far? I bet you it would, but let's give it a shot. There we go. And let's try and reconnect this. And it works. Great. 1Ds. That is probably right on the edge. These are supposed to be good for 32 blocks. Alright, so we are there. And we want to drop probably right here is the easiest for line of sight. There we go. And it doesn't really matter what kind of post you use. They all work the same. Just they look a little different. And I've been using the steel posts for my main lines and trying to use the wooden posts for when I have to tap off. There's that, and I forgot to turn this off too. We don't want you pumping yet. So let's say we put the last post here. And let's just make sure we have enough clearance. And this may glitch. You may see a double post here. No, it worked right this time. Sometimes I'll get what looks like a second post sticking up in the air. For some reason it glitches about 30 to 50% of the time. This time it didn't. And this time we are going to try and hit this on the end. There we go. So let's run this back. It probably would have looked more natural if I had hooked it the other way, but if I hang it down, it's kind of low. They could have done a little bit better with the graphic for sticking it on the end here. There we go. And remember, we got to come back to the relay. Where did my machine go? There it is. I'm telling you, more glitching going on in this pack. And I'm wondering if it's because we had to put all those chunk wards in. Chunk wards keep chunks activated when you ain't there. Because around you there's a certain number of chunks that stay activated. But when you leave, they shut off. And when they shut off, if they've got pipe going through them or they got conduits going through them, it can cause a lot of issues. The problem is if you put something in like the chunk wards, which, you know, they've got a radius of 3, so that's a lot of chunks each one of them keeps open. If the game has to keep track of everything that's happening, like every torch has got the little flickery stuff going on, it has to do every torch in every chunk plus everything else that's active or changes in every chunk. And that gets the server to slow down and gets it confused. Prematurely gives it wet hair like me. I probably had too many active chunks when I was young. Woe is me. Anyhow, that is how you complete the wiring. The next problem is going to be hooking up pipe to these ports so that it can connect with the rest of the pipe in the system. See there's the pipe underground. We got to do this all underground so it can get to the tank, which, by the way, tank is filling up. It's slow, but it's filling up. You can see oil. See, we have enough oil to see oil now. And this glitches a little bit, but if I turn, I don't know if you can see it, we may have too much oil in it now. If I turn, yeah, you see there's just a little bump on the left. That's an upwelling from where one of these valves is. I got a valve right there. You can see it now that it's glitched. So if I turn, you can see the upwelling right about there. So the oil is coming in, and we are up to 13,800 buckets. So that's a nice start. We get the rest of these oil wells on. We should be in good shape to get that filled up. So I am going to get switched again so I can get into mining and pipe laying mode. And I will probably have to build myself a bunch of pipe because I believe I've used almost all of it. So that's the ultimate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the ultimate mechanical I'm about out of. So I'll be back. We'll link in the last part where you can see us digging in to get and winding the pipeage around everything. So be back in a minute. So we're using redstone and iron in the metallurgic infuser to get the enriched alloy. Enriched alloy is the basis of the other parts that we need. So we're going to take 2 stacks, 4 stacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we are going to get some of the compressed diamond and some of the compressed obsidian. We are going to get 24 of each. 24, or excuse me, 16 of each. Yes. So every 8 will do a stack. And that's what we're after. So 16 and 16. You can see enriched is in. This is empty. This is my feed box. We're going to put the compressed, and then we're going to drop in the obsidian. And the first thing that goes in is the compressed diamond, and because it's compressed, it's a lot more, can do a lot more things, and it's going to crank through all the first 128 enriched alloy. And then when those are done, it will fill with the compressed obsidian, compressed enriched obsidian, I should say. And it will make the atomic alloy. So right now we are working on the reinforced alloy. And those are what we're going to use to eventually get to the ultimate mechanical pipe. So if I want to make 2 stacks of the ultimate mechanical pipe, quite honestly, I'm probably going to need more than that, but this will get us started. Oh, that's aluminum. Aluminium. Where's my iron? Am I out of iron? Looks like I am out of iron again. Let's put some iron back in there. All right. So this is the way I make buckets. And I need 16 of them. So there we go, 16 buckets. And to make the basic pipe, we need steel, which I am also out of steel. There we go. Got a little bit of steel. So drop our 16 buckets in, drop our steel in, and that gives us basic mechanical pipe, 2 stacks. I may wind up making a couple more stacks before I head over and start working on drilling the tunnels out, but for now this will get us started. And we are still working on reinforced. So again, I need 16 reinforced, so we have plenty, and I have just enough atomic alloy. And we're going to need a little bit of enriched, so that gets us up our 3 levels. So let's find our recipes. They are hard to see here, but here's the basic, which is what we've got, and we want to make the advanced. So we are going to move the items, we're going to build it, and we're going to do it a second time. Oops. Advanced. Did I use? Oh, I guess I did use all of it. Huh. Well, I'm smarter than I thought I was. So anyhow, now we're going to do the elite. And finally, the ultimate. So there we've got 128, 131, 181 sections of pipe. Will that be enough? I don't know. But it's enough to get us started. So I'm going to get over and start showing you how to dig underground accurately so that you get to where you need to be. Peace out, man. See you in a second. Before we are starting to put oil pipeline in. Oh my God, you just saw how big my face was. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to head underground and we're going to start learning how to map. Wow, that's scary. Map underground. So let me get turned around so you don't see my face all that much. It's kind of weird looking at me that way. So you see I've got the oil pipeline and I have a main conduit here of sorts. But how do I tell where I want to get to? That's the question. So we're going to go into Journey Map. And right now you see this gnarly mess, okay? This isn't bad because you can actually see the lines that I've pushed. If we were on the surface or we were down below, you would have to adjust your vertical chunks. And this is normally where I want to be on vertical chunks. Because, yeah, that don't get you nothing. This is higher up stuff, so we're going to go down. I need to get over into this area. Okay. I don't know exactly in this area. I need to put a marker in, which means we're going to have to go out, go down, and put a marker. But what we need to do while we are here is figure out what level we're on. So F3, we are at a depth of 62, so that is our target depth. So let's go find out where we... And it's gone again. My God, why does this disappear? There it is. And my lever's gone. And I do believe this is turned. Yes, because it's no longer in the chunk. Well, that turned it. It's in the chunk. Why? What is going on? I don't have my repair kit with me either. Alright, let's try this again. Bobby, you got some answers for me? I hope you do, because I am at a loss here, buddy. Alright. Let's hook this thing back up again. There we go. Alright, hopefully once we get the pipe on, it won't do this anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to, what was it? What did I say? 62? Which means I need my depth on. So we're like way, we were already about at 62. Okay, so I really didn't need to do that. There we go, 63. So one down is 62. So let's just, we're going to come right here. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to go down slightly underneath so I don't have to destroy everything. Alright, so I need that. And I need to come back here. Great. Awesome. Okay, so let's put, there we go. Now we can go straight over. And we'll just hide this pipe, and we won't have to jump over it. Make sure I don't fall into any holes. See, holes. They're coming. Yep, maybe not. Alright, and then this is where we can go up. So, I did it again. I said that word. There. So this is 63. Pretty sure. Let's make sure. Yes, 63. We want to be down to 62. And this should lead us into our tunnel. Turn off F3. There. So the torches, not only is it good practice every 5 to drop a torch for monsters, or mobs as the case may be, going into mapping mode, it is easier to see where you are. So we should be in here somewhere. I probably need to drop that. Oops, I don't want topography. Do I go down? Nope, I go up. Well, there I am. Where is my tunnel? Oh, there it is. So there's my tunnel. This is the level we want to be on, which is 3. So we got a little ways to go yet. And if you know the exact block you need to get to, here, you can zoom in, and if you know that it's like this block, you can navigate to that block. You just got to know it's that block. But once you get to the point where you know where the block, or within one, usually is plenty, you're good for navigation. And it's really easy to lay underground lines. Oops, and we overshot just a hair. Just something. There it is. Great. So we are going to, oh, I said the word again. I said it. I did. That's the level I want the pipe at. So it's got to come up here. And it's going to connect. There we go. Now it's connected. We just need to bring it back the rest of the way. Oops. Yeah, I was getting smart. If you're in practice, you can lead this and run backwards, and you can lay a lot of pipe, really fast. You just gotta double check. Now in this case, it shoots the oil from the other wells out there because there's no pressure pushing it. That is not something I'm thrilled about with this system. So it's going to be hard to tell when these wells are dry, because if you even have one, there's going to be oil coming in, and the question is it actually going to empty everything into the tank? If these are dead and there's residual oil in the line, you're never going to be able to tell. So you probably have to come back and do some more survey, take some more cores and measure it. In any case, we now have this guy ready to pump. So we can turn that on, and he's now adding to the system. And we're going to do that with all the others. Probably come this way with the pipeline, and then over to pick this guy up, and then we will just work our way around following the power system. And I know this area over here is all chunk warded, so oil will flow this way. If I went across, it would flow. The question is right now, oh come on, you can go faster than that. The question right now, this particular area may not be covered with chunk wards. See if we can figure out. There's one there. There's one there. So this area from about the cactus field over into here to the tank may not be active. That could potentially be a problem. So what do? You have to put more chunk wards down. Well, if you do more chunk wards, that's more chunks. More chunks means more glitches. You see where I'm going with this? That's the problem with a big strung out facility like this. Now fortunately, this will hopefully only be temporary. So once the oil's gone, we can shut all that down. The quarry keeps these chunks open here, so I know through about here. I don't know from there over. These chunks are on, they're active, it will work. Why this guy is glitching, I am not certain. Because this should be an active chunk. This chunk should not shut down, so why is this thing glitch? Don't have an answer. Anyhow, that's how you do it. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and hope you're enjoying the channel. We are making progress. Progress is starting to slow a bit. We may go to monthly updates or periodic updates, depending on all the activity that happens. Still looking for another person. Still hoping to get Aiden, but not holding my breath. It has been weeks. He says he's going to get his computer hooked up. He's now wherever he moved to. Says, I don't have any internet or Wi-Fi. It's like, I know where you live. They've got internet and Wi-Fi. I know. So what's the deal, dude? So, yeah, I think it's still the girl. Remember, guys, chicky babes, they're nothing but trouble. Seriously, I'm married. Look at the color of my hair. Give me just a second here. There. First off, how much hair do you see? Second off, what color is the little bit that's left? I'm just saying, chicky babes, nothing but trouble. Bye.